calling you a radical. So the Damian Lillard postseason blues go on and on and on. So this whole nightmare started here. Well, hey, what a player. Are you kidding me? What a fucking player. And just remember, Damian Lillard never played in the NCAA tournament. I did the play-by-play in that game. I had him sign the KWCR shirt that Anthony Johnson went crazy in the second half. Lillard ahead by 22 points in the Big Sky Championship game there and lost. Anthony Johnson, tragically, who had the greatest performance in the history of this house. That's saying a lot. So then the next year at Montana, they lost the championship game. So the all-time record for who's the king of not going to the NBA? Stockton Malone went to the NBA Finals. Hall of Famers. Lillard's a no-doubt Hall of Famer. What an athlete, what a player, what luck he's got. Well, luck. He got awful good luck when it comes to money. That's probably one of the top 2 or 3 richest players in the NBA. Probably top 10 richest athletes in the United States currently. He goes out again. Now, it was that game 3 against the Pacers. Tweaks that Achilles, which is very dangerous shit. He's been in the league a long time. And they would have won that game if that wouldn't happen. He'd have won in overtime. He didn't play in overtime. So the Greek Freak, of course, hasn't played the whole series. The whole team's built around him. I don't know what's going over here today. They're tailgating or camped out for something. Who knows? So anyway, the all-time record for the history of the NBA playoff appearances that never played in NBA Finals, that's the incredible, the unbelievable Steve Nash. But remember Steve Nash at Santa Clara? I was at that game at the University of Utah at the Huntsman when they were the 15th seed. I still have the ticket in the program. That place went crazy. Them were the days, weren't they? Oh boy, them were the days. And they upset Arizona, the 2 seed. Stottlemyre. That was Nash, a freshman, a young Nash. Unbelievable, right? Those key ice water in his veins, free throws. Who believed somebody who told you he was a 2-time NBA MVP, they would have freaking threw you in a rubber room? I always knew what Lillard was as far as the athlete went. But I always knew he was NBA material, but I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams could dream he was this mega superstar that he is. So he's approaching Nash, but Nash played the NCAA tournament. Lillard never did. So, I have my whole theories. I can get into it, but, he had some pretty good runs with Portland. I think they went to the Western Finals one time, but the all-time record for the most playoff games in history and not going to the finals is Steve Nash. Fastly being approached by Damian Lillard. But Lillard's such a beast, he's got a few more in him, so I've been wearing this shirt because I think that's who's going to draft Dylan Jones. Now, they're not going to get him in their pick because they might even win it. I'm still rooting for Rudy Gobert. I still remember that classic Rudy Gobert versus Damian Lillard in the leukemia games in Japan when Lillard got his gold medal. And Rudy couldn't make a free throw, but, I can't stand the BYU Jazz. They make me sick. And everybody, oh, yeah, Danny, AJ, oh, fuck. This whole game, they're so pitiful. This time of year was so exciting for all this. From 1985 to 2000, the highest win percentage of any professional sport in the country, no one's even close, was the Utah Jazz. Of course, they got upset in the, I remember Chris Mullins and George Karl. When they were the 2 seed, they were the 7. What was that, 89? Upset. They did that twice. Heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss. That's Utah. But they would be deep in the playoffs every year. Deep. Phil Johnson. And so, no more. We don't have any fun. We don't have no Jazz playoff games anymore because they suck. The thing that blows my mind, Gail Miller speaks at the Utah State commencement. Gail Miller, when Larry died, Larry Miller was an incredible athlete. Do not kid yourself. Oh, freaking watched him play. Woo! That's when fast pitch softball was something. Now that dude was some kind of beast. You know, and he was passionate. Oh boy, was he passionate. I remember him and George Carl fighting during the game, fist fighting. I mean, he wanted to win, boy, I'll tell you that. But so when he passed away, Gal Miller and his attorney, the attorney married Gal Miller, and so we had a legacy trust. You can't legislate from the grave in this country. Well, how did we get the legacy trust through? Gal Miller lobbied for it and lobbied for it and lobbied for it and lobbied for it, so that the Jazz would stay in the Miller family and stay in Utah forever. Fuck, what a shit. And then they immediately fucking sell it to the BYU. How that guy got fucking billions, don't even get me going on that whole pieces. With the three branches of government in the United States. So I call the BYU Jazz now, and they suck. By the way, Kenny Lofton Jr. is not the great Kenny Lofton. Is he not the Alpha's son? No relation. So the Jazz, the product stinks. You know, when the product was so great, so awesome. You know, and so Stockton Malone never got a ring. I've always said if Phil Johnson would have been the head coach, they'd had 4 or 5. A lot of people say that. So Lillard jumps from the Trailblazers over to the Bucks with the Greek Freak, and that's not Lillard's fault. The Greek Freak gets hurt right at the end of the season. Strained calf and can't play. I'm surprised they got as deep as they did, you know, and then Lillard gets hurt, and the team comes back and wins the game without Lillard, but they got blown out. Lillard had a good game, but bad luck. I mean, Anthony Johnson goes off in here. I mean, are you kidding me? So Damian Lillard's playoff blues, postseason blues, I'll say, go on and on and on and on. It's kind of like being a Weber State basketball fan. Oh, God. Fuck, you want your heart ripped out? Oh, I've had it ripped out twice. You know, where the daughter, you know, they honored Dr. Goff, who ripped my heart out last year, got my pacemaker. So I know the Celtics want him, and I hope he goes there. But I've been telling him for years, the great, incredible Dylan Jones, who's the greatest player in the history of this building. You know, he's right up there with Soldier. And I think he's the greatest player in Weber State basketball history. Alan Holmes, Wat Masaka and Alan Holmes won national championships. Who's that? Alan Holmes is Byron Scott's real father, you know. Here. You know, Byron Scott was born here. So, Wat Masaka, born and raised here, first player of color in the history of the NBA. How come his number's not retired? That's a very good question. The great Arnie Farron passed away, who used to get us all our great. I mean, think about the games in this house. Fuck, I watched Jimmy Valvano cut down all them great tournament games, but no more. I mean, the greatest performance in this house ever was Anthony Johnson against Damian Lillard. I mean, it was freaky. He dies this year. Even better than I won Stevie Nicks in here with Fleetwood Mac. You know? I mean, so many of the great events in the D Event Center that has no events. Now it's just the D Center. I mean, why there's no concerts in here when they was just full of, I mean, the place, Jethro Tull, Aqualock, my friend here. I mean, I always remember that Men at Work concert, Alabama. I mean, I go on and on and on. Fleetwood Mac. I mean, the last one really here was Radioactive. They don't have shit here. It's the most underutilized building, second most, besides the Ogden Stadium. So, I call this Damian Lillard's personal workout facility. Lillard's such a beast. He's got years left in him, no doubt. And I hope he does get one. You know, I mean, you got to get some good luck. Well, he's got plenty of good luck when it comes to money, I guess. I don't agree with his business tactics. I don't. This is made in the USA, you know. So, I still don't believe it. You know, a lot of people really thought the Bucks would win it this year, have a chance, but I'm still rooting for Rudy Gobert just because I'm so pissed off. Well, you know, Donovan Mitchell's still playing, right? They're still in the playoffs, right? He's with Cleveland, just lights it. How the fuck they trade those two? It's kind of like when they passed on Tony Parker, the Jazz draft. Kind of like when they passed on Damian Lillard. Well, they didn't pass on him. He went in front of them, but they had no interest in him. Kind of like when they passed on Chris Paul. You know, I mean, the whole state of Utah, because this is a basketball state. I mean, we go crazy basketball. The fan base here is pitiful, but Utah State, BYU, and Utah State, the fan base is freaking bigger than it's ever been. Same with the Jazz, but they know how to get talent. They know how to recruit. They know how to market. They don't, but the rest of the state does. But there's one thing they don't know how to fucking do in the state this century. Win. You know, Rick Majerus took that, 98 team, 99 to, how long did Andre Miller play in the NBA? But took them all the way to they were ahead at halftime in the NCAA championship game. The Jazz, we know 97. I sat right across when Jordan dropped the shot. I mean, it was like that was it. It was over. And Harold Arsenault, the show in Seattle, the greatest performance by a Weber State player in history. Harold Arsenault, the show in Seattle. Both games, and I think they were a Final Four team. I really heartbreaking. 95, Ruben Nemhart. Fuck, what a player. Jimmy DeGrafferty. And by the way, Jimmy DeGrafferty for coach. Jimmy DeGrafferty coach. This coaching tree that they have now, including Damian Lillard, Randy Ray, and the coach they have now. By the way, Duff is gone. Or not Duff, excuse me. He's still here. The Randy Ray. He's a Randy Ray knockoff. He's been with Randy Ray. That's all. The overcoaching, it's over the top. And Daniels left. He's up at Utah State. So this coaching tree has been the same. It's like set your sundial by it. Win 20 games and go home. It's not players. This school gets great ass. I mean, me and Randy Ray got in a big fight over there when they got his contract extension when they lost Xavier in the tournament. I'm like, what the fuck? They just weren't good enough, Kev. We don't get players like when you work for a Bagland, blah, blah. What do you mean you don't get players like that? I started rapping. Oh, you mean like Damian fucking Lillard? Fuck. Me and him had it out. I told you, once he left here, you'd never even see his face here again. He was here for one reason, the money. He never integrated into Ogden. These guys, I don't know what the obsession is with they don't even use committee here with the athletic department, with Midwest secondary coaches. That's a football team. Why would you, fuck. Take from first. We get athletes. The state gets that. The state has forgot how to do one thing in basketball. Win. They don't know how to fucking win. I mean, players just blazing it up in Europe. Fuck, Jerry Carty is the greatest player who ever played here. Ever in this place. He's unbelievable. He never went to an NCAA tournament. Fuck, you should see what he does in Europe. Oh my God, he's like the mega. And so he says, he's too slow to play in the NBA. I says, why did the NBA offer him a contract then? The Mavericks offered him a contract. He was the leading summer player 2 years ago. These guys some of these fans babble diarrhea like fucking, they're idiots. And so, Jerry Carter could be playing in the NBA right now. Fuck, he's a superstar over there. Fuck, you don't think there's money over there? Zaire Porter, who played here, sat on the fucking bench the whole time, put up 53 in a game. Man, we get athletes here. Jeremy Sieglin, Scotty Bamford, fucking Joe Ballin, boy. You can't win with those fucking guys? Huh. Dylan Jones, you can't win with that guy? So, Damian Lillard, you can't win? Well, fuck. Lillard's had some bad luck in the NBA. I've always said if he would have won that game that night, he'd have got to go to the dance, and he'd showed the world. He wouldn't have been the sixth pick in the NBA. He'd been the first pick. And he wouldn't played for the Blazers, but, he took his shot to get out of there to try to win a ring. And great nucleus, but it's built around the Greek Freak, and the Greek Freak got hurt on April 9th right at the end and didn't play. I mean, he's the nucleus of this team. He's the Michael Jordan of the Bucks, and he's the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And, you're not going to win in this league at that thing when your pillar goes down. So I'm rooting for Rudy Gobert. I always loved his fucking style, man, the Stifle Tower. But, the money's obscene, but the Damian Lillard Blues, I'm going to call this. He needs to make a song, call it the Damian Lillard Blues. I'll do backup, Damian. And I love Damian. Do not get me wrong. I fucking love him. He's an incredible person, and he's a god around here. In this city, oh, fuck. He's probably the most famous person in the history of this fucking city. Fuck, people fucking walk around this town. That's all you fucking see is Lillard fucking jerseys, from kids to old people. People love Lillard because he gets back here and he comes back here. And so he'll be back here soon. We love him. But the facts is, well, how good was Steve Nash? But Steve Nash, played the NCAA tournament. Lillard, fuck. The Damian Lillard Blues. Oh my God. So goes on and on and on. I thought they had a real shot to win the whole fucking thing. I knew when he went down they were in big fucking trouble. And I'm a big fan of Donovan Mitchell's. I rode on the plane from him when he came here from New York. I was coming from Italy. That's where I met him. Don't feed the line, he told me. But, Lillard, the Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. Fuck, his numbers are starting to blow my mind. But the state of Utah, this century, fuck, it's been pitiful, actually. This basketball state, BYU, Utah State gets to the tournament all the fuck time. But one and done. Ask Stu Morrill, who was Randy Ray, worked for Stu Morrill. Fuck. I used to see Stu Morrill in Wendover all the time. He's too busy fucking playing slot machines. I used to go to the NCAA tournament with Danny. I love it. He took the money and run. Ooh, hire Jimmy DeGraffi here. Hire Jimmy DeGraffi here. Hire Jimmy D. I got to tell you this story about Jimmy D. When I was a student professor at the #1 school business in the United States, 95. Could be the best team in the history of the school. Sackowitz always sets me straight. Says, wake up, Kev. 68. Yeah, I get it. 68 when you missed the front end. He says, well, Lana Turner was sitting on the sideline. The form I kept looking at. Phil Johnson. That really could be the greatest team. Sweet 16 team. Should have been finally Elite 8. And 95 with the great Ronald Baglin, Utah. The great Ruben Nemhard. And the incredible Jimmy DeGraffi. Jimmy DeGraffi, Utah. He's in the finance program there. I'm a student professor for the legendary finance professor, Dr. Cooley, getting my stuff done. Working for Baglin. I'm the guy that used to keep Ruben in class together. I would sit next to him. Love Ruben Nemhard. What a fucking player. Oh my God, player. Baglin used to fucking, when they'd get in trouble, Baglin used to say, okay, time out. Spread the court. Ruben to the post. Fuck, they'd go in there and put Ruben on the fucking post. Fuck. Boom! Like Lillard. Lillard, I remember the first time I saw him under the basket, and he just like, boing, boom, almost rips the fucking rim off. He's 17, 18. I'm like, oh. But I knew on Lillard, I got to tell this story. So, Jimmy, in 95, they beat Judd Heathcote, who coached Montana, who knocked Weber State out of the Big Sky Championship game at the Swenson Gym, the last game in the Swenson Gym in double overtime. I think Michael Ray Richardson was on that team. Huge upset. It took all those years, but Jimmy DeGraffi and Ronald Baglin and Ruben Nemhard and crew paid him back. 10-point, 14-point favorites. Michigan State, his last game. But Weber State sent him packing. I remember that idiot Dave Locke was arguing with me. Oh, God, they sent to the Wolves. He should go back to Seattle and stay up there. Oh, yeah, they don't have a team. And because he sucks. And so me and him argue. He's an idiot. And so we go from Hot Rod Hundley to that. Fuck, Hot Rod Hundley was the greatest, wasn't he? Oh, fuck. Run the parking lot, literally, the great Hot Rod Hundley. So, my first protest, we used to take a bus from here. We had season tickets to the Utah Jazz. There was a keg on the bus. We weren't old enough to drink. We're 19, 20, but when we was 19, it was Utah. Nobody gave a fuck. It was the 70s in America. So we go down there, and Battistone owned them. When we got an NBA team, we were so fired up and happy. So we bought season tickets, $240 for the year, in the beautiful, incredible, the greatest arena of all time, besides this one, the Salt Palace. Oh, what a fucking arena. Oh, my God, I think the experience I've had in that arena. Unbelievable, right? Fuck, you name it. I saw them concert-wise, and the great Utah Jazz, Utah Stars, the last team to win anything, 1971. Stars, Elmo Beatty, Ron Boone. We love Ron Boone. And so, Frank Layden used to come up here to these games. So I'm talking to Frank one day, because I did the play-by-play WCR, and this is when Lillard broke his foot. And Jimmer's all we heard around the state. Jimmer, we love you. I guess Jimmer's going to play on the 3-on-3, and what did he fucking do? He won't win shit. And so overrated, it's unbelievable. That's all we heard. Lillard got no love, got no press, got no media, got no nothing here. He did for me, and me and Frank are talking. There's an NBA scout here. You should have seen the scouts this year. Oh, fuck, I sat with them. Dozens every game. I was in their ear. And the scout comes walking by. I'm talking to Frank, and he says, Frank says, oh, hi, buddy. He's a Utah Jazz guy. This is after Frank left the Utah Jazz, and he's like, what are you doing here, scouting a player? And he says, yeah, he's scouting a player from Eastern Washington. He said, who are you scouting? All this sort of stuff. And I looked right at it. I says, your NBA player sitting right there. There's Damian in the boot right there. And I know damn well Damian heard it. And the guy started to laugh. Who's laughing now, you dumb fucking Utah Jazz? Oh, they're fucking pitiful, ain't they? You know, but I think he's going to the Celtics. And last, I told him, you know, I call him Dylan Magic Jones. And the reason I call him, he plays this, he's a mix between Adrian Dantley at the rim and fuck, he's amazing. Dylan Magic Jones. But they're going to trade up to get him. And I says, well, you know why? I think you're going, why is that, Cap? Because the Lakers will draft you just to spite the Celtics. They could use him, and they'll get a high enough pick they could grab him. So we'll see, but sad to see it, but it's unbelievable. The great, incredible, the amazing Damian Lillard. I was on this camp at the same time. I was full cancer then, doing the greatest PhD in human history. Go figure. The Damian Lillard Blues. Stay tuned.